Hello, everybody. How are you? This is Uncle Bruce, and I'm here today with Mr. Juvenal. How are you, Juvenal?
I'm good, Bruce. Thanks for asking. And hello, everybody.
So, we're going to talk today about a topic that was very interesting to read about. I'm going to share my
Mhm.
screen so you can see the title. This is the title of the article. It's called In the US, They Think We're Communists. The 70,000 Workers Showing the World Another Way to Earn a Living. So, this was a very interesting article talking about in the Basque Country, which is in Spain. It's a company or a corporation called Mondragon, and it's actually a co-op. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So, what are your comments, your overall comments about this concept of co-ops, Juvenile?
Yeah, actually, I like a lot because it's something that I think it's an alternative for people in general, especially people that comes from the working class or others or other classes. That it's an opportunity to make money and not only to make money because it's not the final proposition of that, but to organize themselves in a system that through the cooperative, cooperative, yeah,
Yeah, cooperative.
yeah, the cooperative, the cooperation between the members, to generate wealthy, to generate and to start a business and manage this business in order to provide a better life for everybody, for members, for example. And in my point of view, it's very important, especially for countries in development, and for their population that needs investment, and sometimes it's very hard to reach investment, to reach money to start a business. So this is a way, where you can gather a lot of people or people with the same interests to start something.
Yeah, this was actually started by a priest back in 1956, I think the date was.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read about him a little bit?
A little bit.
Yeah. He took it upon himself to make that his mission. His mission was to make the area where he was assigned as a priest
Mm-hmm.
to make it revitalized, basically to bring business into the area because it wasn't doing very well. And that's an area where they have a lot of industry for machining, doing machine operations to create
Mm-hmm.
things. And so he started this co-op idea, and he did it by training people to learn industrial engineering. And so the people
Okay.
learned industrial engineering, and then they said they went to companies in the area and they said, you know what? This is not, I don't like this. I don't like this idea of working in a company and just making money. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And doing what the company tells you to do. So this priest developed a system of making them involved in a cooperative situation and selling things. And then it developed there. I need to read more to fully understand it. I will, because I'm going to read about this much more.
Mm-hmm.
But this priest is responsible for starting this co-op. And actually, it's a series of about 80 individual co-ops that are all underneath the, we call umbrella. We talk about business, we talk about the
Mm-hmm.
business umbrella with all the corporations underneath. Like the idea of Volkswagen. Volkswagen has Audi, they have Porsche, and other brands besides Volkswagen. It's an umbrella of companies. And that's the way
Yeah.
a lot of corporations are developed nowadays. So this is a co-op that has over 80 different individual co-ops underneath the one name. And so they're all interrelated, all interconnected. And so very interesting to find out that the people are receiving profit from the corporation. They're getting
Yeah.
their paycheck, but then when the corporation is very good with the finances for the year, they have a bonus check. But it's also
Sure.
possible that they lose a little money. Okay? Because they
Exactly.
are owners of the company with everybody.
Mhm.
But a big difference that I read about is that when you have a corporation like Apple or Google, the owners
Yeah.
of the company are mega rich, okay? And the workers,
Exactly.
they make okay money. You know, they make a good salary. But there are mega rich people. Why don't they share that money? It's because of the way that the corporations are set up in a system. What do we call the system? It's called what?
Capitalism.
Capitalism. Exactly.
Yes.
So in capitalism, you can be mega rich if you are mega smart, or you are mega, let me abuse everybody and I will be rich and you guys will make some money, but I will abuse you. I will use and abuse you. I will pay you little money and I will receive a lot of money because you will
Yeah.
work hard for that money and I will get rich because of you. That's the way I learned in class that I had for my MBA. No, from my four-year degree. Four-year degree, my bachelor's degree, I studied a little bit about capitalism, and it's based on the fact that the companies pay little and they charge a lot and they receive a lot, but they only pay a little compared to what they receive. Whereas in this co-op idea, in this construct of business, they share the wealth, but there is
Yeah.
there is a little bit of disparity between the low and the high. It's like 6-1. So you make 1,000, I make 6,000. You make 10,000, I make 60,000. 6-1. In an American corporation or capitalistic corporation, it's 1 to 272. So it's comparable. The comparison is between a co-op of 6 and a regular corporation, 272 times the value of the average worker. That's the big difference.
Yeah.
So, you know, the corporate executives, they make 60,000. I make 6,000.
Yeah.
Or I make no, I'm sorry, I make 10,000, they make 60,000. It's a big difference, but it's not that big. It's not
Exactly.
that big. They get more money because they have more responsibilities to do well. And it may be that they don't stay a CEO for a long time because they don't do a good job. Okay, get another one, try another person, and they get 60,000, and that other worker gets 10, 20,000 now. You know, the old CEO, because they didn't do a good job. So in a corporation, they use headhunters. You know, headhunters?
Yes.
You're probably a headhunter. Okay.
I know those guys.
So they are the ones that find a new CEO. The CEO or the headhunter company receives a lot of money to find a new CEO, and the new CEO makes 20 million compared to maybe $50,000. They make 25 million, and the average worker makes, you know, $40,000-$50,000. A big difference, man.
Yeah.
So,
I got so surprised when I saw this difference nowadays, because a long time ago I was reading an article about people management and the difference. For example, countries that used to have a big difference between the CEO and the how can I say the simple worker. You know, I don't know how to say in English
Yeah, the average
because
worker.
yeah. So the difference in at that time, 20 years ago or more than this, was around 50 times.
50 to 1.
Yeah,
50 to 1. At that time, now
yes,
it's 272.
exactly. Man, it's an absurd.
Absurdity. It's
It's
absurd.
crazy.
Yes.
Yeah,
So 6 to
crazy.
1 seems reasonable, very reasonable.
Hmm.
So the idea with the co-ops is to make a wealthy society, not a wealthy person.
Hmm.
And I thought that was interesting. I really, really want to look at this a lot
Yeah,
because I didn't study that much about co-ops. I studied about sole proprietorship, which is owning your own business, being the one in control. I studied about partnerships, and I studied about corporations. I didn't study much about co-ops, but I'm really
exactly.
liking the idea, the concept of having a co-op as compared to a, uh,
Hmm.
a, a, a corporation. So I'm going to study more to understand because English Brazil is my company, but I don't call it
Hmm.
my company. It's English Brazil's company. It's the people in English Brazil. It's all the people who are participating, all the people who are teachers and organizers and administrative. It's our company. It's not mine,
Hmm.
and it never will be. I don't want it to be. I receive enough
Yeah.
money. I'm already rich. Really, but I don't need to receive a lot of money. I had a dream, years and years ago
Yeah,
about
yeah.
being a millionaire. I had dreams, but I don't have that dream anymore. Right now, my objective is to help people with English. So the idea with a corporation is to pay the people and to try to make more and more profit, like any other company. But
Yeah,
the idea when we receive a lot of extra money, it's distributed with everybody based on your percentage. Okay.
yeah.
So the people in the corporation, I think they invest in the corporation. They invest their energy and their time to receive a salary, but they also, I think, invest some money to help to have money for the co-op to invest in new ideas like what is it called? R and was it research and development, R&D. So
Hmm.
you to have some extra money to invest in the development, you have to have some extra money. So you you go ahead and invest money from your salary. You say I want 5%, 2% to go for this research and development, for example, or with marketing or whatever. The company, the co-op uses it, and then that is part also of your percentage of ownership of the co-op. I
Hmm.
remember hearing about a co-op situation or a profit sharing with a professional football team called Green Bay Packers. Okay, it's a
Yeah.
professional football team in the United States for American football, and that team and the stadium and everything is, I think, owned with the people in the city. And I don't know how that all works, but that's the only team I've ever heard of that operates this way.
Hmm.
All the other ones are owned by an owner, a particular owner,
Exactly.
or maybe even
Yeah.
a investment corporation. I don't know, but the co-op situation in the United States is not that popular, not compared to corporations. The normal corporations. I like the idea of co-op because I don't like the idea of Elon Musk and what's the guy with Amazon?
Jeffy
Jeff
Bezos.
Jeff Bezos.
Bezos.
Jeff
Bezos.
Bezos.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of them having so much money. Why? Because they can and they want. I think it should be distributed with all the people who make Amazon work, that make Tesla and the other businesses work underneath that umbrella.
Yeah.
That's just my
Especially
opinion.
on, yeah, and especially on these days that we are living on, like if you start a business, especially on technology sector, if you put your company or you go into the stock market and starting from an idea that your company has a lot of potential customers for someone, I don't know who, you
Mhm.
know, your company start to worth a lot, to worth,
Yeah, to be worth.
yeah, to be worth, $1 million or something like that. So,
Mhm.
and you have not assets, you have not, how can I say, solid,
Yep,
uh,
capital and
yeah, it's just because an idea. So this is the point. It's quite different than, for example, General Motors or Firestone or companies that in the past used to have assets, to have products,
yes.
properties and other stuff.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean that I agree with all the idea of that as well, but this companies nowadays, especially the companies that are in the technology sector, it's very weird the idea behind.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, in the article, it says that they have like about 1,600 plus outlets
Hmm.
in Spain. This is a Spanish company. And so
Yeah.
it's the seventh largest company in Spain. Seventh largest. Because it incorporates, like I said, 80 different co-ops.
Hmm.
And some of the co-ops are with what do they call it? White products, white goods. Do you know what white goods are?
No, no.
Appliances. Appliances like stove,
Ah, okay.
refrigerator, washer, machine.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
They
yeah.
call that white goods. I never heard of the white goods
Okay.
before. But do you know why they call them white goods? Because they were all
Yeah,
white. At one time in the past, it was all white.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But now
I,
they have
I,
many
I, I,
colors.
I didn't think in this way because, in despite of in Brazil, we have something very similar to that because here we call linha branca.
Oh, really?
It's yeah, it's
Oh,
the
interesting.
it's about the appliances that you use in kitchen and laundry and
Mhm.
other stuff. And you have the line we used to call sound and vision. So it's appliances to like
Okay, cool.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
another interesting part of this article was there was a woman that was working with one of the co-ops
Mm-hmm.
with electric domesticals, which is white goods or
Yeah, yeah.
appliances, and that co-op didn't make it through the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and not the pandemic, but the financial crisis of 2008. Okay, it was
Yeah.
a big financial crisis, and that company didn't make it, didn't survive, but she found a job inside of another co-op, inside of that group of co-ops. And she said
Yeah.
she had many friends that lost their jobs too, not in that company, but during that time. And they were without a job for a long time. But she found a
Mm-hmm.
job within, a short time in another co-op because they are all interconnected. And so if you're looking for a job, you can look in all the co-ops for a job if you are part of
Yes.
one of the co-ops.
Yes.
So these are very nice benefits. And then you probably,
For sure.
when you work in the co-op, you probably get a discount. It's like when you work with Go Airlines. Okay, when you work with Go Airlines, you get a big discount to fly.
Yeah.
If you work with Hilton Hotels, you get a big discount to use a Hilton hotel in another part
Yes.
of
For
the
sure.
world. I met some
For
people in
sure.
Colombia recently, and they work in Hilton in New Jersey. And they are from Colombia, and they return to Colombia to visit friends and family and to have fun. And they stayed in the Hilton hotel for a cheap price, and they got free breakfast because The guy talked to the people in the hotel. Oh man, don't worry. Just go ahead and have breakfast. Don't worry about the money. So being involved in a corporation, like this, you can get benefits because you are a part of it. So in a co-op with a lot of people, they have like 84,000 people now working in these co-ops. Okay. There were 70,000 about 10 years ago, and they've increased by 14,000 people. That's excellent. They're growing. They're growing.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have benefits when you work in a company. And so this is what happened with this lady. She was talking about that. So very cool.
Yeah, very cool. And I got so surprised because I didn't know that exists so big cooperative system in Europe or in other countries.
Well, this is the biggest one in the world. This co-op is the biggest co-op in the world. So it's like a reference for other co-ops. I know that there are many co-ops, small co-ops in the United States. In the past, we used to grow fruit like apples, and you had cattle, you had cows, okay? And we would exchange my apples for some of your cow meat, okay? And we called that bartering. Bartering, that was the word we used.
Bartering.
To exchange things that we had. We would exchange some of our produce, some of the things that we created with animals or trees. And so that was the system back in the past. But now it's possible to have a co-op in a city. And a lot of times you'll find co-ops selling in farmers markets. Here they call them the thetas. So that's very common for co-ops to sell their produce, their fruits and vegetables in a city market or a street market in the United States, if that's what they sell. Like in these co-ops in this one company in Spain, they have co-ops that create white goods, the appliances. So that co-op is a company owned by the workers, and they create big appliances, and maybe probably small appliances, but they are creating like this, and they sell them in the other big co-ops. So this co-op sells to the big co-op, and the big co-op sells to the public. Direct.
Yeah, sounds good.
So it's a distribution system, like any other logistics and things like this. It's a lot of work to put that together, but it sounds like a very viable solution to our problem today with the people who work like slaves, they say, okay? They work very hard and they get little money, and then you have the rich man at the top or the rich woman at the top. I think it's a good option to the current corporation method of operating a company.
Yeah, I agree. And such as is tied to the number of shares you have in this entrepreneurship, if you can call like that. And it's a way to promote, the things that we are talking a lot nowadays, like inclusion, diversity, and equality. Okay, and it's a way to include more women, poor people, the Black community, and something like that. It depends on the way you manage or the way you start this initiative or this project. But I think it's a very democratic system, for people in general.
I think so.
Yeah. And more sustainable.
Like I said, with English Brazil, it's my company, but I don't call it my company. And eventually, I don't want it to be my company. I want it to be English Brazil, operated by professionals, a CEO, a CIO. They're going to be the ones making the big decisions about the direction of the company. So that's what I want. That's what I want, is to have that happen.
The point is, I think the key point here is to keep the core idea of to produce something for, in this case, for society, for people in general, like to spread the idea of promote a second language, as you always said, So it's a big dream, it's a big purpose. So I think the key point is to keep this alive, And I think when you have the co-op system, the cooperative,
yeah, co-op. We just say co-op in English. We say co-op.
Okay, the co-op system. I think it's maybe the only way where you can keep this alive and in authentic way as you started, because this is the point where that there is a turning point where corporations in general, change their purpose or, to start acting not so ethical that I can say that,
Yeah, possible.
That's the point. Yeah. Because power corrupts.
It corrupts people, yes.
Corrupts people. So this is the point.
Yep. So I think it's worth reading about to understand it more, because it may be a possible way for English Brazil to develop more and more. Not just because of me and some other people and me and with another group of people. No, we have a co-op. We are all cooperating and making decisions for the better part of the company, for Brazil. And it can be for the world, but Brazil is the focus. That's the name, English Brazil. That's the purpose for that name. So I'm excited about reading about this co-op idea and developing it further in my thinking, and then to decide if this is a possible way to go forward with English Brazil. So I'm really happy that we came upon this article. I selected this one. Normally you select all the articles, man.
Yeah. And
you do a good job.
Yeah, and it's good, and it's an excellent idea, to deep more in this concept, because I was reading a little more about the co-op system in Brazil, and because I always have heard about how can I say, the bad side of that in Brazil. I don't know in other countries, okay?
Okay.
Because there are opportunities for some people that don't have good intentions,
Yeah, well,
to corrupt.
There's always somebody, we always say, I want to make a quick buck. Okay. I always want to make fast money.
Okay. Yeah.
And I will do what I need to do to make the fast money. So there are many people that don't really have an interest to do the right thing. They are looking for a way to get money for free, basically.
Yeah.
And that always exists. That's always a problem.
Exactly. And such as the co-op system has some not subsidized, but some benefits from the law, according to the tax or other stuff. So there is, or maybe it could be a good opportunity for whom want to escape, or to take some bypass to make more money. So that's the point.
Yep. Well, listen, it's come to the end of our time together today. Thank you guys for all coming out and listening to us. We hope that you have some questions for us. We are open to questions, and we will reply to them in YouTube. That's where we post our videos. So thank you, Juvenal. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you too. And was a good moment for us and for me, always. as usual, and I wish to everybody a good week.
All right. So you guys have a good one. This is Uncle Bruce and Juvenile saying goodbye for today. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.